In my opinion, this is the best email campaign that you can use as a coach in 2025. So if you're struggling to book in calls, literally install what I'm about to teach you in this YouTube video into your business, and I can guarantee that you're going to get a lot of calls booked and people interested in what you have to sell. Okay, I'm not holding anything back apart from like really private client information, and I don't want to get sued for breaching the NDA. But everything else, I'm leaking the entire method. So if you stick around to the end of the video, you can literally plug and play this exact email campaign into your own business and watch yourself book in some calls and actually make some cash as a coach in 2025. So just to actually prove that this is pretty legit, we've booked quite a few calls through this, and I'm just going to showcase some of them. This guy booked in current revenues 80K a month, and his 3-month goal is 175K. We have another one who's making 20 to 40K a month. This one's zero. We have another one who's making 50K gross per month in monthly recurring revenue. And we have another one who actually didn't want to disclose how much he's making, but 3-month goal is 10K, so he's probably just starting out. For the most part, these guys are qualified. Okay, so that just goes to show that this email campaign does actually book in some qualified calls, and I'm gonna be breaking it down. This is literally like a 7 to 9 day campaign. It's very, very chill, very laid back, not too pushy in my opinion, although the final email is a hard CTA push, and it's gonna book you in a ton of calls. So just honestly stick around. So first things first, let's uncover the framework that I'm going to be covering in this video today. We will be starting with the welcome email. Okay, this may include a lead magnet. This will also take you out of the spam inbox, and I'm also just going to kind of show how all of that works. It's going to make a lot more sense as I get further down into the video. Second email is a teaser email, and this will just be kind of hooking them in, grabbing their attention, and just really teasing what you have right here, making them wait and anticipate that next email. The third email is you're going to go with a bang, okay? The third email is now actually going to be showing some case studies from your previous clients, whether you have those or not. If you do have those, this is going to help you out a ton. If you don't have case studies, you can use yourself as a case study, or you can potentially use a competitor in the market, not necessarily as a case study, but as a perspective that you can put over to them, if you know what I mean. So if you're targeting fitness coaches, for example, you know, you're a coach teaching fitness coaches, okay, you can basically use someone like Alex Eubank as an example, okay, and you can use it from his perspective on how he was blah 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 value dropping to them, but using him as kind of not a case study because you haven't worked with him, but also using him as an example. And you can do that too. But if you don't have any case studies, the best thing you could possibly be doing is using yourself as a case study, as I'm kind of doing right here, although I'm showcasing what I've done for my own client. By the way, if you're a coach, if you're a mentor, if you're a consultant, or if you're someone with a skill who wants to monetize by making a coaching program, I have a link in the description where you can get a completely free audit from me. I'll look over your whole conversion system, see if there's anything I would personally tweak, and even if me and my team could plug and play those systems into your business. Okay, this is not a hard pitch. I'll literally give you a free audit over your business, so you have absolutely nothing to lose. So link in the description if you want to check that out. Then the fourth email is the offer email. Now this is more of a stronger CTA. You're going to come off more abrasive, not in a bad way, but more in like, look, this is what we have. This is exactly what you need, blah, 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 and you sell. And last but not least, the fifth email is a very, very hard push. This is basically the one that gets a ton of calls booked because you're doing anything and everything that you've done from all of the other emails beforehand. So let's just dive straight into it. The first email is the welcome email. Okay, so I'm not giving you a word for word structure of what you should be saying, but if you just hear the examples that I give verbally, you may have a good concept of what to say and how to structure it. But for the most part, I'm going to give you the framework because I don't want to be giving you the exact thing to say, because if the exact thing to say, if everybody implements that, it's not really going to work. Okay, and I think it's best that you, as a business owner, as a coach, you write these in your own words because that's the way you speak. And if your audience pick up on the fact that that's not how you speak, they're not really going to read or listen to this anyways. And look, you're the expert in your field, so I'm gonna give you control of the steering wheel, and you obviously use this information as you will. But you start off with obviously, hey, name. If you can collect these people's names as well as their email addresses, you're winning because you want to personalize this. And actually, funny I say that because obviously we were dealing with an email list of actually not that many subscribers, but we didn't actually have these people's emails. We didn't have these people's names. We had their email addresses, but we didn't have their names, which is kind of funny. It's very contradictory to what I'm teaching here, I guess. But then we have the introduction, okay? It has to be very, very simple. This is just a welcome email. So you can literally be like, welcome to my newsletter. You can be like, You know, I haven't picked this up in a while. Haven't spoken in a while. Hope you're doing well. You don't. This has. It doesn't have to be anything special. Then you want to give some context, of course, where you've been, maybe what you've been working on, maybe even who you are if you've never sent an email out before, and then you want to hook them. So you might be asking, why do you want to hook them? Well, essentially, I mean, if you're not hooking them in, why would they read the rest of the email? You want to hook them in. And the only way you hook them in is by first identifying your ideal client profile. I actually have a bunch of videos on this already. I hope this is up here in that top right corner. I'm gonna link one of the videos that covers ideal client profile and how you can know your market better. So feel free to check that video out. But once you identify your ideal client profile, you now know their pain points. You now know how to resonate with them. You now know how to come across so they actually listen to you, and you know you're actually speaking to them specifically. You're speaking to that particular group of people. And the hook has to be very, very specific as well, because you have to highlight one of their pain points. So in this case, it was actually an AI generated video type of service. And we said, you know, are you tired of constantly posting videos? Or are you tired of constantly recording content to no avail? Are you tired of consistently recording content on a daily basis, sitting in front of bright lights and still not getting views? We now know that is going to reel in the audience. They're going to read that and be like, yeah, I mean, yeah, that's me. And they're going to carry on reading. And then this is where you tease, okay? Because we have something that's a solution to that. But I'm not going to tell you yet. I'm just going to kind of, you know, tease that we do have a solution to this. And then you want to start belief breaking. And no, this is not XYZ. This is not XYZ. This is not XYZ. Because as soon as you tease something, people are going to get questions coming up, okay? They're going to have questions come up in their mind. They're going to be like, all right, so is it not? And then you're going to be like, no. And it's not this. It's not that. And it's not this. And they're going to be like, oh, fair enough, right? So what's next? And then you'll be like, okay, cool. If you want me to send over a video clarifying and breaking all of this down, just reply to me with yes, and I'll send it over. And then of course you may hype it up or something like that and then do your outro. But why are we going for a reply CTA rather than, you know, telling them to book in a call or do something, or even telling them to just go straight to a YouTube video? Why not? Why do we not just link a YouTube video right here? Why do we tell them to reply? Because when they reply, that takes us out of their spam inbox, meaning that more people will get our emails. Okay, there'll be a lesser bounce rate. You know, we had a less than a 10% bounce rate, which is super, super good. Okay, we had a very, very low bounce rate, considering how many, we didn't even have that many people in the email list as well. So yeah, you want to get people to reply so you can get out of that spam inbox, and of course more people overall in your email list will receive that email. So if we got a reply, we then replied saying like, hey man, as promised, here is the YouTube video. There was a 1-day delay as well before sending this, of course, because we want to get as many replies as we can. We don't want to be sending it instantly because they'll know it's automated. But then we'll send the YouTube video, and this will be a YouTube video actually breaking down everything. So if you're a coach, the best type of videos that you could be sending are like your 1-hour ones where you're doing a full in-depth training into trading or e-commerce or whatever you're teaching, right? This is the best thing you could be doing. Just sending one of these long-ass videos that allows them to actually warm up. It's kind of like a VSL, works like a VSL, but on your YouTube channel. And it's disguised as a free training, or in other words, a lead magnet. So that's what you want to be doing. Then you wait 2 days. So make sure you put this in your workflow to wait 2 days before the second email gets sent out. And this is the teaser email. You want to start with, hey name, very, very simple. Make sure you always personalize this, okay? I don't want to touch on this too much, but just personalize, because the more personalized you can get, the more they're actually going to listen to you. Because, I mean, look, if you're just saying, hey friend, they're not going to want to reply to that. But if they say, yo Michael, I have a question. Just a quick question, Michael. You know, if you're walking in the street and someone goes, hey, you're not really going to turn around. You might do just to see what's going on, but you're not going to think too much of it. But if someone says, yo, Matas, I'm going to be like, what the hell? Someone said my name, you know? So it's the same thing. You want to be calling out that name. It's gonna catch their attention. Then you want to have an intriguing question. So in this case, we were like, what would you do if you never had to film content again, but you still consistently posted? Or what would you do if you were able to clone yourself? Okay. And then you give them a bunch of, I guess, answers to that question that could be potential answers. And then you go, well, this is exactly what we've been able to do. You can also ask this question as a pain question. So what would you do if your content was on autopilot? Kind of triggers some pain, okay? Because people have pain with obviously filming content here. Or what would you do if you can just get abs tomorrow? What would you do if you had abs tomorrow morning? Would you go to the beach? Would you book a holiday to Tenerife and never look back? Would you start hitting up a bunch of girls on Tinder? And right after that, you're like, well, actually, you're able to do this. Of course, that's a very unrealistic example because I don't think any fitness coach, no matter how good you are, is going to be able to get you abs in one day. But you get the point. You want to ask an intriguing question and then provide the solution saying, we have that. Okay. And then you want to see some features. Okay. You want to be like, okay, so if you are going to get abs by tomorrow, you're going to be like, no, and you're not doing sit-ups. This is a 24-hour program, full nutrition plan, something along those lines, and you want to tease these features. And last but not least, if you want to find out more, book in a free call with us. Book in a free consultation call, no strings attached. And you want a CTA to that link to book in a call, or it could be a landing page. You could be like, well, I've actually broken down how all of this works in like 7 minutes. And then you link the landing page down where they can watch the VSL, okay? And then you want to add urgency saying, I'm only opening up a couple spots to this. So, or I'm going to delete this email in 24 hours. Check it out now before it's gone. And of course, people are going to check that out. Then you wait 2 days and you move on to the third email, which is the case study email. You start it again with a personalized hello. You can say hey again. You can say hi. You can say greetings. You can even say good morning if you want. Okay, even good morning. If you can actually let's say your audience is from the US, if you can send them the email in the morning, that's going to be a lot more personalized. They'll be like, what the hell? How the hell does he know it's good morning? So that's one thing. Then you want to start off with case study, but you don't want to just be like, yo, John made $10,000 last month. Okay, you want to have some context. Be like, just touching on from the last email, we implemented this exact same thing for John, and John was able to generate $10,000 in the last 30 days. So you want to link it with context. You don't want to just results, okay? You want to link it into context just so it's a little more smooth. And the only reason I made results bold is because you want to bombard them. Okay, you want to bombard them with results. You want to make it undeniable that you know what you were doing and people that work with you actually win. And then you want to belief shatter. You want to say you want to say no, and John didn't do this, and he didn't do that, and he didn't do this. Or what you could do instead is you can do the opposite and try to resonate them. John was just like you in his 9-to-5 job, his wife giving him a headache, and his kids not being able to respect him because he's not making enough money, or he's never home. Okay, you can resonate with them. Or you can belief shatter. Either one works. And then you want to be like, okay, so this is exactly how John accessed exactly this, or this is what John got access to, and you want to intro the offer, maybe even list a couple benefits, okay? But John only joined 42 days ago, something like that. You intro to the offer, and then you want to be like, if you want to find out more, or if you want to be just like John, book in a free consultation call with us, no strings attached, and you want a CTA again with some urgency. We're only opening up a couple spots for personalized consultation, so do not miss out. You're getting people booking like there's no tomorrow, okay? Straight onto email 4. Don't forget to wait the 2 days, okay? You want to keep waiting 2 days in between all of these emails just so it gives enough time for it to all kind of refresh, I guess. Email 4 is the offer email. Now, this is a lot more pushy. You're going to start off with a personalized greeting, and then you're going to go straight to belief shattering. With belief shattering, you want to go straight in for the kill. So let's say it's the abs offer, okay, the fitness offer. You could be like, I understand that getting abs in 24 hours seems very unrealistic, but that's why our process is different. Now you're hitting them with the, belief shatter, and then that's why we're different, okay? You want to hit them with the something unrealistic, something that's like mind-blowing about your offer, You'd think making 24K from a trade is unrealistic, right? But that's why our process is different. But that's exactly what we've been able to achieve. And that's what makes us different. Okay? And then you literally list your offer. List all the things that are most valuable about your offer, and then slap a risk reversal on top of that. Because people don't usually buy just based on the offer or the result and the emotions behind it, but they also buy because of safety. And safety is the main reason why people don't actually buy. You want to provide an element of safety, or in other words, risk reversal, meaning they have nothing to lose. This could be a 15-day money back guarantee, no questions asked. If in 15 days they realize this isn't for them, you'll give their money back without asking even any questions. Or this could be if we don't deliver XYZ, you'll get a 100% refund, and we'll send you money on top of that, which is what Charlie Morgan does. Super, super genius, I can't lie. And you want to implement the risk reversal because that's only going to add to the offer list. They'll read this and they'll be like, oh, this is so cool. But then you'll be like, oh, wow. And I literally have nothing to lose if I try this out. and the new CTA. Again, if you want those exact results, or if you want to be the next person to get these results, book in for a call with us, or watch the 7-minute video in the link below. And then you want to add urgency, saying these spots are filling up fast. All the best, Matas. Something along those lines. And then last but not least, we're down to the last email, which is the CTA, the hard push CTA. Okay, this is the one that's really going to get a lot of calls booked. But although all from 1 to 4 is going to get a lot of calls booked in general. So this is the last one. Okay. Hey, name. And then you could do an introduction. Be like, I know I've been sending you quite a few emails, but this is the final one I'm sending you. Or you can literally be like, hey, John, just letting you know, this is the final email I'm sending you. Or this is just a quick reminder that spots are filling up fast. You know, you can do an introduction and an urgency in one. You don't have to do these on 2 separate lines. And then you want to bombard them with case studies. I underlined and made IES bold because you don't want 1 case study. You don't want 2. You want as many as possible. If you can do 7, perfect. Okay? Try go for a minimum of 3. 4 would be ideal. And anything more than 4, perfect. Okay? Don't spam 25 of them. Look, if you can, fair enough. But I'd say spam, like, do it 3 to 5. And then leave the rest for the landing page or the booking page. And then you want to do the risk reversal. Now, I said this is optional. You don't have to do this, okay, because you've done it in the email beforehand. But the risk reversal also helps. And if it's something like, 30-day unconditional guarantee, meaning if you literally just change your mind and you don't even have a reason for it, I'll give you your money back. Include that in there, okay? And then a very hard CTA with a very hard urgency. So this is more like these spots are filling up quick and I'm opening up only 2 spots for personalized help from me. Now these spots will go within 24 to 48 hours. So act quick. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Speaking about the risk reversal again. And then obviously your outro. So for the most part, I really hope you found this email campaign useful. I'm sure you can literally implement this into your own business, into your own coaching business right now. It's very, very easy. If you even want to see what the email workflow actually looks like, I've done this in GHL for one of my clients, but you have email 1, then you will have 1-day timeout. And in this time, obviously people will reply or won't reply. If they won't, it will still go back to this. And this is email 2. Okay, then you wait 2 days, email 3, wait 2 days, email 4, wait 2 days, email 5. And then that is simply it. Now, I hope you found this video useful. If you're a mentor, a coach, consultant, you want my help installing these exact systems into your business, okay? I'm gonna leave a link in the description where you can get a completely free audit from me, no strings attached. I'm just trying to provide as much value as I can to you, and this is gonna make you a lot of money, and I'm confident in that. So I thank you for watching till the end, and I'll see you in the next one.